Atlanta News First Plus starts now with the First Alert Weather Day.
First Alert meteorologist JD Disharoon here, and as we take a look at your rain chances as we go through the next few days, notice we're going to be seeing those rain chances staying right about 50-50, and that's a good indication that we're starting to switch the weather pattern here as we go throughout the next several days. So it looks like the heat's going to start to take a back seat, and we're going to be getting more into that unsettled weather pattern that we saw over the past several days. So, last week. So it's kind of like, it's really at this point, it's a catch-22. You're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. It's either going to be hot or it's going to be wet. So it just kind of depends which one is more of your cup of tea. For me personally, I like the weather pattern, only because my electric bill is not going to be insane as we go throughout the summer months. So we'll just go ahead and see it. But I know every once in a while we need to get some hot days in here so you can enjoy your time in the outdoors, at the pool, and doing all those fun summer things that we do enjoy doing. Unfortunately, maybe not the best evening to do those fun outdoor summer things, because we do have that First Alert Weather Day for not only the chance of those storms, but also the heat. It still feels over 100 degrees in some locations. That's at 7 o'clock at night. So that just goes to show you just how big that air mass is as we make our way into the evening hours and over the overnight hours, and just how hot that air mass is as well. Now, for the most part, we are going to start to see that hot air mass erode. That's what's helping to let this wet air mass move its way back in. So as we take a look, I do want to let you know that we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out in effect for east central and northeast Georgia. That does include the northeast part of the metro. So we're talking folks in Gwinnett, Forsyth counties, and then north and east of that. So essentially, Helen, Gainesville, over into Gwinnett County, down in through Covington, and down into Eatonton, and then folks out towards the east. So this is until midnight. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they extend that just a little bit later on in the evening, only because the models are starting to indicate that maybe the storms are going to form a little bit later than what we had anticipated. So we might need to see that kind of rolling in as we head into the, past the midnight hour, in towards 1, 2 o'clock. So, it's just something that we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on as we go throughout the remainder of the evening and into the early overnight hours. Either way, Patrick and I are going to be here as we head into the early overnight hours, and then we'll hand it off over to Rodney and Courtney as we head into tomorrow morning. So someone's going to be here all night to kind of give you an update and to keep you updated on the severe threat going into the nighttime hours. So as we take a live look at the radar right now, notice what we are seeing is just a few isolated showers and storms across North Georgia, and then more showers and storms back up to the northeast and South Carolina. That's kind of the beginning, the genesis, if you will, of the complex of storms that'll roll through overnight. But for right now, I do want to focus in on some of the stronger storms that we have across the region. This particular one right here, as we go on in towards Paulding and Cobb counties, this does have the potential for 40 to 55 mile an hour winds. So we're going to keep an eye on that as we head into the rest, really the next hour or so. These don't really kind of stick around too long. They kind of build up and fizzle out. They don't really move that much either. If they do end up moving, like the southern one here is, you notice for the most part, this particular one that you can see my mouse kind of going around, it is moving off to the southwest about 10 miles per hour. So, it is maybe kind of starting to spread out into the Dallas area. You're seeing some lightning for sure in Dallas. You're seeing some light rain, but the heavier stuff hopefully will fizzle out before it makes it your way, but otherwise the Paulding-Cobb line is getting hit right now just to the north of Highway 120. And then also over near, Barrett Parkway and Chastain over on 575, and then really 575 from that area up north to the Cherokee County line, getting some very heavy rain. The lightning, though, starting to fizzle out with that particular cell, so it's starting to rain itself out as we head into, the next 10, 15 minutes or so. Meanwhile, we're also going to be taking a look at, this particular area off towards the north. We're going to be seeing this particular cell near Harley and Taylorsville has fizzled on out, so that's some great news there. And then down towards the south metro, you can see this particular cell also fizzling out. It did bring some pretty heavy rain from the Freedom Parkway area back down towards Browns Mill and over toward where 675 and 285 meet on the south end. But it too is starting to fizzle out. So just kind of an idea of just the pop-ups that we are seeing. Now, I do want to kind of zoom things back out just a bit and then kind of pull us back over towards South Carolina, because I want to show you that pretty much everything that has been popping up in this area, and we'll switch our radar sites real quick to give you a better idea of what's going on, take out some of that clutter. Notice everything that's popping up pretty much has a severe thunderstorm warning on it from Greenville all the way back down towards Myrtle Beach. And the reason for that is we just have so much energy in the atmosphere right now that anything that pops up is just able to kind of tap into it and just kind of starts to get a little bit intense. And the reason for that is because of that energy. I'm trying to pull up a graphic right now, which is why you kind of see the map stop there. And I want to zoom this thing out real quick. So notice, and I'm about to change it so you can see the current time on this now. As I zoom out, just look how much energy is available. The darker the color, the more the energy. And if you're seeing this and you go, oh, there's not a lot of energy over South Carolina, North Carolina where the storms are, it's because the storm sucked it all out. So, they're going to move into this very intense atmosphere over the southeastern United States. So notice Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, a lot of energy is available for this storm as it starts to push down to the south and east. So that's one of the reasons that we're very concerned with the severe potential as we head into the overnight hours. So, that's why we're continuing to watch the threat for severe weather. And it's not just where we have that severe thunderstorm watch. Notice pretty much everybody in the viewing area has some threat in some form or fashion. So where we have the severe thunderstorm watch, that's where we have the level 3 risk. Now, where we have outside of that is a level 2 risk. So even though you're not under the watch, Atlanta, Carrollton, Canton, LaGrange, heading through the evening and into early tomorrow morning, we do have that potential for severe weather to begin to move into your areas. And again, that's why we're going to be doing that handoff as we head into the overnight. So let's go ahead and take a look at the timing on all this. So, as we go in towards the later hours, notice by 8, 9 o'clock, still dealing with pop-up showers and storms as we head through the metro area and then up towards Gainesville and over towards Athens. And then we'll start to see a line of showers and storms develop as we head into the early morning hours and then start to push through as we get in towards 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So again, models have not been doing a great job on kind of picking up on this, but they are showing a complex of storms developing in the overnight hours, and anything that does develop has that potential to kind of pick up on that energy and become intense very, very quickly. And because we're not seeing a lot of movement in the upper levels of the atmosphere with these storms, that's why they're moving so slowly. Microbursts, downbursts are going to be a real threat as we go through tonight. So what that is when you don't get the storms moving in all levels of the atmosphere, the updraft, the upward air that's fueling the storm, that's kind of like the engine intake in a car, can mix with the downdraft, which is where it kind of gets rid of the, excess energy and the output. So basically that's the exhaust. So if we're talking about a car here. So when that intake and that exhaust kind of collide and move into each other, the storm can't sustain itself and it will collapse. And that can sometimes cause winds 70, even 80, 85 miles an hour. And that's just as dangerous, if not more so sometimes, than a tornado. So that's one of the reasons that we're concerned with the fact that we may not have a lot of storms tonight, but the ones that do develop could be very intense and could be destructive as well. Now, the other thing we're going to be talking about, obviously, is the temperatures. I mentioned this, alluded to it at the top of the half hour here. And that is still hot for this time of night. I mean, take a look at this. We're talking, it's still 89 in Atlanta. It's still 91 in Canton and Covington, 93 in Gainesville, Eatonton, Rome, and LaGrange. And North Georgia, 79 in Blairsville, we had some rain. So that's kind of why you have fizzled things out temperature-wise. But take a look at these feels likes. This is 7:30 at night, and it still feels like 107 in Eatonton. It still feels like 102 in Canton, 103 in Covington, 101 in Rome, almost 100 degrees in Atlanta right now. That's officially at the airport. If you're in Midtown, like our station, it feels a lot cooler than that because we did have one of those showers roll through. But the flip side of that, it is extremely muggy outside. You really kind of feel like you're being smothered with a wet cloth when you step outside in Midtown at the moment. Now, the good news is, though, as we head through the next few days, temperatures are going to start to fall. We're going to see, in fact, I'll give you a perspective on that because today we topped out at 95 degrees. Tomorrow, we're only topping out at 93. So that is a little bit of an improvement, but we're still going to have those scattered showers and storms, and we still have a level 1 risk out of 5 for tomorrow. Now, as we head on in towards Friday, and Saturday, the rain chances stay elevated. So does that severe threat, a level 1 of 5, as we go through your Friday. But notice the temperatures slowly start to cool. Average time of, this time of year is 89, 90 once we get into next week. So that's about where we're going to be. So that's some good news. We're going to get rid of these well above average temperatures. The other thing is take a look at the morning low, 78 degrees. That is hot for this time of year and that time of day, to the point where that is a new record. Previous to today, our record high low temperature, so the maximum low temperature we've had on this day was 77. So 78 breaks that record. And it just goes to show you how abnormally warm it is, even for this time of year in those morning hours. Now, right now, you can barely see the city right now because of the haze and some of the showers that are moving through. Also, just because this camera is located pretty far away. But we're looking at 89 degrees in Atlanta. Dew point is 75, which means it feels like 99. So, definitely a very muggy evening out there. And again, we've already shown you the temperatures, upper 80s to lower 90s. And then notice as we head into the overnight hours, temperatures not really going to rebound very nicely. It's still going to be mild. It's still going to be muggy as we get into tomorrow morning. In the city, we're looking at temperatures around 73 degrees for your wake up. It may actually be warmer than that. 78 was the record this morning. I believe we had 76 for the low, so we may not even get down to 73. But most of the suburbs, though, should. Upper 60s to lower 70s. And again, this is the type of weather pattern when we have that high pressure on the upper levels of the atmosphere that you really kind of see that heat island and just how much warmer we can get in the city compared to the suburbs in the overnight. Now, today's heat risk was extreme. Tomorrow, we're faring a little better. The metro area, some places up near Gainesville and Lake Lanier looking at major, so it's a level 3 out of 4. The rest of us, though, kind of more towards a typical moderate for this time of year. It's the summertime. Typically, our heat risk in this area of the country during the summer is going to be level 1 or level 2. It's just hot and humid. But level 3 and level 4 is when we kind of start paying attention, level 4 especially. But it looks like we're slowly getting rid of those as well, and that's some great news. So for tomorrow, 93 in the city, but 90 in Covington, 92 in Rome, Eatonton, Athens, 90 in Thomaston, 80s in the North Georgia Mountains, and then 80s again as we get in towards your Friday for the North Georgia Mountains. But notice everybody comes down like a degree or two. So again, just like the warm-up, which is gradual, the cool down will also be gradual. So 91 in Atlanta and Eatonton tomorrow, 90 in LaGrange and Athens, 89 in Covington and Rome, 88 in Carrollton and Griffin, 89 in Thomaston and Gainesville, and 85 up into LJ. And I kind of showed you this at the beginning, but I want to emphasize, temperatures are going to return to a more average for this time of year with highs right around 90 degrees for your weekend. Heat index, it feels like over the weekend, low to mid 90s. Again, very typical of the summertime. So, get out and enjoy it, even with the 40 to 50% chance of rain. Obviously, a summer pop-up shower and storm is to be expected. Maybe a little bit more than just that pop-up shower and storm as we head through the next 5 days. But, after we get through with the heat and we get into the weekend, I know a lot of folks are just going to want to be able to get outdoors and try and enjoy some of that summer fun. Just remember, thunder roars, head indoors. And if you're at the pool or at the lake, 30 minutes after the last lightning strike before getting back into the water. We've seen it time and time again this week, unfortunately, with numerous people having been struck and killed by lightning across the country. So not necessarily in North Georgia, but across the country from lightning strikes that are happening outside of the storm. It doesn't have to be raining for lightning to be a threat to you. So again, we emphasize 30 minutes after the last lightning strike before resuming those outdoor activities. Now, your 7-day forecast shows, as we kind of mentioned, 40 to 50% chance of showers and storms each and every day, with high temperatures slowly sliding back into the 80s by next week. But for tomorrow, this is what you can expect in terms of your forecast, your precipitation. We're going to be looking at, by 3 o'clock, an isolated showered storm developing, a better chance as we head towards 4 to 5, maybe a pop-up for your evening commute, and then better rain chances north of I-20 as we head towards the sunset hour and towards 10 o'clock before things start to fizzle back out. Now, our next Braves on Gray Day is Friday, so if you're going to be heading to Truist Park, hydrate, lightweight, light-colored clothing, hats, glasses, keep yourself cool. But again, it's your typical summertime heat, but still enough to give you a little heat exhaustion if you're not taking care of yourself. But upper 80s to lower 90s across North Georgia as we head into your Friday. If that's too hot for you, you can always catch the game on Peachtree TV. You can catch it in the comfort of your own air-conditioned home, hopefully, if you're fortunate enough to have the AC going. Now, by Monday, we're still looking at upper 80s to lower 90s with a 40% chance of showers and storms. And as I pull the map back out, you can see that that's pretty much your weekend forecast as well. We're going to be looking at 90, 91 degrees Saturday and Sunday, 40%, 50% chance of showers and storms. And then as we head on in towards your forecast for the rest of next week, it really is just kind of more of the same. 91 on Monday, 89 on Tuesday, and notice we keep going down, so maybe even 87 by the time we get to Wednesday. It's still going to be humid, though. Feels like temperatures will still be in the low to mid-90s, and you can tell that because those morning time temperatures are going to be in the lower 70s, even mid-70s into the middle of next week. So a pretty active weather pattern as we, look through the next 7 days. As for the temperatures, we're going to be noticing above average temperatures continuing on into the beginning of July. So just go ahead and, get used to it. The heat's going to be sticking with us as we head through at least the next few weeks. So just go ahead and prepare. Summer is here, and it is definitely starting to work its way into our forecast. Now, again, Patrick and I are going to be here as we head through the early overnight hours. Rodney and Courtney will be in here to hand things off, and Ella will be in as well. So all of us will have you covered as we head into the evening and to the overnight hours, on air, online, and streaming. Other than that, have a wonderful evening. Stay warm and have a blessed night.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.